My wife started jogging at 5:30 every morning, and I bought her a fitness tracker. 6 weeks later, I checked the app. Her route never matched a single thing she'd told me. That was the morning 33 years started looking different. My name is Frank, 64 years old, 38 of them spent as a Finnish carpenter in Portland, Maine. Custom cabinetry, built-ins, hardwood floors, crown molding. If you've walked through a renovated Victorian in the West End or a new build-up in Falmouth, there's a real chance my hands touched something in that house before yours ever did. Precision was never a philosophy for me. It was just the job. You measure twice, cut once. You don't force a joint. You keep adjusting until it sits right. That's how I worked, and pretty much how I moved through everything else too. Susan and I were married 33 years. We met on a job site in 1991. She was the interior designer. I was finishing the library shelves. She had strong opinions about wood species and zero hesitation sharing them. I liked that about her right away. 8 months later, we were engaged, and that fall we got married at her parents' place in Cape Elizabeth. Small ceremony, maybe 30 people. 33 years, 2 kids, both grown now. A house in Scarborough I renovated almost entirely with my own hands. New kitchen, new master bath, a screened porch off the back that Susan said was her favorite room she'd ever been in. I put everything into that house. In January of last year, Susan told me she was starting a fitness routine. She'd read something about cardiovascular health in women over 60 and decided she'd start jogging every morning before I woke up. 5:30 a.m., out the door, back by 6:15, 61 years old, never run a day in her life, and I thought it was one of the best things I'd ever heard her say. 3 weeks in, I drove to the sporting goods store in South Portland and picked up a fitness tracker, the kind that logs your route, your pace, your heart rate, set it up myself, linked it to an app on my phone as the account holder. Same way I handle all our devices, and wrapped it in a small box with a card. The card said, "Proud of you, keep going." She wore it every morning without question. For 6 weeks, I never opened the app once. No reason to. I was a husband glad his wife was taking better care of herself. And that was the whole story as far as I knew. Then, one Sunday morning in March, I was at the kitchen table with my coffee, phone in hand, and accidentally opened the fitness app instead of the weather. Susan's full activity log loaded automatically, every entry right there on screen. I almost closed it. Still don't know why I didn't. The most recent entry was from that Friday morning. At breakfast, she described it as the loop through the neighborhood down to the water and back. I know that loop, walked it myself 100 times. About 2.5 miles, 35 minutes at a normal pace. The app had a different account of that morning. She'd walked 4/10 of a mile from our house, stopped for 41 minutes at an address I didn't recognize in a neighborhood called Black Point, then walked home. Total distance under a mile, and she hadn't jogged, she'd walked the whole thing. I sat there for a long while before I scrolled back through the history. 6 weeks of entries, every one of them the same. Walk 4/10 of a mile. Stop, stay 40-some minutes, walk home. The stop was always the same address. A street I recognized because I'd bid a deck job there 2 summers back. I remembered the house. I remembered the man, around 50, recently divorced, according to a neighbor I'd talked to while I was measuring the yard. Drove a newer truck, seemed pleasant enough. He'd said he'd think about it, never called back. I closed the app, set the phone down, and finished my coffee. 20 minutes later, Susan came in from her jog, cheeks pink from the cold, hair back in a ponytail. She poured herself a glass of water and said good morning like any other morning. I said it back. Over the next 2 weeks, I checked everything quietly, cross-referenced her daily logs against every route description she'd given me at breakfast, and not one morning matched. Screenshots of every entry, dated and timestamped, saved to a device she had no access to. One Tuesday at 6 a.m., I drove past the Black Point address. Her car wasn't there. She always walked, but a light burned in the front of the house. Her tracker showed she'd arrived at 6:03. I went home and called my brother-in-law. He's a retired detective out of Augusta, who doesn't ask questions he doesn't need answers to. I told him what I had. He told me what came next. By the end of that week, I had a consultation with a family law attorney in Brunswick, a town where Susan didn't know anybody. Maine runs on no-fault divorce law, but fault still carries weight. Credibility, how the court reads asset division conduct during the marriage. The attorney walked me through my options, and I took notes. The next 3 weeks went into figuring out exactly what we owned, what I'd built, and what I'd paid for. The house in Scarborough constructed almost entirely with my own labor. The union pension from 38 years with the carpenters, my retirement savings, the workshop full of tools I'd been collecting since my late 20s. What I felt wasn't anger exactly. It was closer to the specific clarity of finally locating where a problem actually lives after you've been searching the wrong place for a while. The conversation happened on a Wednesday evening in April. Susan sat me down at the kitchen table, the one I'd built from reclaimed oak 12 years ago, and told me she'd been unhappy for a long time, that she'd found someone who made her feel alive again, that she was sorry, but she needed to say it out loud. I let her finish. Then I said, I know about Black Point. I know about the route. I know how long it's been. The color left her face in a way I'd never seen in 33 years. My attorney would contact hers by the end of the week. I wasn't going to make a scene, and the screened porch was staying with the house. I built it, it was mine. Then I got up, put my cup in the sink, and went out to the workshop. 6 weeks later, she moved out. The settlement ran 4 months. The house stayed with me, along with the union pension, the tools, and the workshop. She got her retirement account, her car, and the furniture she'd chosen, which was fair. I kept what I'd made. I'm still in Scarborough, still take on finish work here and there. Not full-time anymore, but enough to keep the skills honest and the shop from going quiet. My daughter drives up from Boston a couple of weekends a month, and we walk the neighborhood loop, the real one, down to the water and back. The fitness app got deleted the day the divorce came through. What I keep coming back to is that card. Proud of you, keep going. I bought her that tracker because I wanted to be behind something I believed was real. Turned out it was the thing that showed me it wasn't. I'm still working out how to sit with that. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.